Hello, FewCandy here, and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines. And we're back in Auridon. It feels like it's been a long time since we've been here. But last time out, we built this car factory, which I was super pleased with. There is one amendment that I do want to make, which was a suggestion by Adept. And a really good point at that is that these trucks would not all have like a truck cab attached to them. The trailers would just be here waiting for the truck cabs to come and get them because they're kind of, you know, a rarity, a scarcity, and get used when they're actually needed as opposed to just parking up like this. So let's rectify that right off the bat. So there we go. That is much more realistic. Thank you so much, Adept, for pointing that out. Really appreciate that suggestion. But yeah, I think this area is kind of coming together pretty nicely with our car factory there. But we do now have a big gaping hole next to our skid mark junkyard over here. And one thing that we have yet to put into Auridon is a big waste processing complex facility. Now, obviously, we've got this huge recycling centre here, but we haven't used the waste processing facility that comes with Sunset Harbour DLC. So this big one here. And of course, if you are looking to pick up any of the DLCs, please do check out my Instant Gaming link. It is linked in the description below, and you can find lots and lots of games as well as all of the Cities Skylines DLCs at insanely good pricing. And it goes to help support the channel as well. So yeah, what we're going to do today is add this in here with a bit of an office complex as well, because we obviously need to think a little bit about pollution with residents over here. Now, we haven't got any residents this side, so it really is just a matter of keeping it away from these guys. So I think we'll keep the waste processing to the back here and then add a little office area at the front. That's going to be the general plan for today. Let's crack on. So first things first, let's have a little think about road network, because what I would like against this highway is actually a little bit of water sewage treatment, because we are in need of some. So if we just have a little look at the demand meters, this is actually really low. We've still got tons of water, but sewage treatment is definitely in need of a bit more. So we do have our bottleneck waterworks, of course, but I think a few more little water treatment plants in here would be good. So let's turn off anarchy and make sure we've got collision on for this. So yeah, I think what I'm going to use is these eco water treatment plants because they look pretty nice here. We could mix it in with a few of the regular ones actually. Might give us slightly nicer effect potentially. I definitely want these up against the highway because I really like that kind of industrial feel as you come down here, and definitely need a bit of fence detailing and the such like around the back there. And I think what we will probably do is actually bob off a lot of the fence around this one. I don't think it makes a huge amount of sense, but yeah, we're going to mix in a few different types of these so we get like a nice kind of varied effect as we go along this road here. So let's just extend this road out this way. We do actually have another connection coming out here, which is just one of the 1 unit roads. So let's go ahead and join that up, and we'll use a bit of node controller here just to remove those markings. Yeah, so it feels a little bit smoother. I think we'll do the same across all of this industrial area, as we have done around Skidmark as well, because I don't think zebra crossings are really needed in such an industrial area like this. So yeah, let's go ahead and add in a few more of these. And I think what I will do here actually is add in just a little 1 unit road like this. Now, if we use move it, I'm just going to grab this node here. I'm going to go back into node controller, and we're actually just going to shift over this blue road so it runs really nicely alongside that fence there. It's just very small shift like that, and then that'll give us, yeah, a nice connection there. Let's go ahead again and remove the markings on that road, and then we can start to place these in a little bit more interestingly here. Now they are gonna, yeah, not look straight at all, but that's fine. We can use move it to correct that. I think 2 of these up next to each other here would look nice. It's just when we're coming down this highway, we don't want everything to look kind of uniform and the same asset placed in big rows, because it just would look weird like that, I think, and unrealistic. So this is a better option in my opinion for doing this. I think we'll finish it off with one of these plants down here as well, and let's just shift that back so it's more in line. Again, we just need a bit of surface painter and a bit of detailing in here. Let's go ahead and have a little look at what that has done to our sewage treatment, and we are absolutely fine. Probably more than enough there, but I think, yeah, that will help us out quite a bit. So I just want to check if we've used that eco water treatment plant in the bottlenecks waterworks, which we have not actually, so that is good news, not the large one. So we'll come back here, and it means we're not going to mess up any of our detailing that we've done in other areas. And we're going to use Bob actually, because these are prop fences, to remove all of this industrial fence from this area, just so that we can fence in the whole thing and make it feel like one complex and a bit more realistic like that. So we'll get rid of the long fences. We'll also get rid of that industrial gate there. I think that will do nicely. Yes. I'm just wondering if actually we do want this more kind of back to back here. I think we're all right. I think we're all right. Yeah, we can just go ahead and detail around that and make it feel a little bit more cohesive, but that will do for the water treatment plant area. So let's come on to the waste processing facility. If I just draw a road out of here, now we've got our one-way system coming into this area, which I'm absolutely fine with, but I do think we want probably another connection. I'm just going to bring a road straight out of here for now, and we'll connect this one in like that. That's a little bit rough. We'll tidy that up as time goes on. And then let's grab one of our waste processing complexes. Now these are huge, absolutely huge. I just want to check, if we put this one here, you can see that radius of effect is not going to impact these houses, which is exactly what we want. We don't want them having any ground pollution. Otherwise, they will start getting sick and being really not very happy at all. Now with the orientation of this, let's actually just spin this round. So we've got this one on the side, and then I'm going to place this one actually slightly further back, like this, alongside next to it. I'm wondering actually if we've got enough room for what I want to do here. We may need to adjust this in a second. If we're going to find it, and let's put on our sub-buildings filter. If we search for waste, we do get the sub-building from this waste processing complex, which is literally just this processing bit. And I think what we can do is use this to just beef out this building a little bit and give a little bit of uniqueness and interest to it. So you see we've got these big tunnels. We want to make sure that they're connecting into all of our buildings. So I think I'll put this shorter one into the side of this blue building here and this one in there. Now that's not the most ideal connection there, but I think if we cover up that top window, maybe a little bit better, I think we can get away with that. If we ignore the tiny, tiny close details, I think that's absolutely fine. Yeah, that just helps to beef out our area. And of course, on all of these, I am going to go ahead and use Bob and again remove all of the industrial fencing from it, because we will put in our own to beef out this entire complex and make it again feel pretty cohesive and like it's meant to be. And I think with this road here, what I quite like is almost a secondary entrance into this complex. So let's go ahead and use our concrete plain roads, and we'll just extend it on out from this connection here. Again, making sure we're turning off those crossings like that, and then that just gives a kind of back entrance into the complex. Again, we're going to need lots of detailing around this, like filling in this random grass area here and the such like to help make this work. But let's also go ahead and then actually give road connections to these buildings. So if we do it like that, that should mean both buildings, yeah, are now connected to the road, and that gives us a nice kind of simple entrance. Again, we can decorate this with some gate work and things like that at the front entrance here, which I think will be quite nice. And in fact, actually, now I'm thinking, let's make this a little bit more interesting. We'll bring it over like this. And then we can create a little security gate entrance area in the front there when we come to do a bit of detailing around this. And of course, alongside these buildings, we do also want to do the transfer facility. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll bring out a road kind of hugging next to, we've got a random bus station, I've just realised there. We need to integrate that a little bit better, which we of course will do. But let's bring out a road like this. And then within here, we can start to look at placing some additional recycling buildings and the such like. I'm thinking maybe one of the waste processing facilities. Now, I can't bob off the fencing from this because I've used it elsewhere, so I don't want to lose that detailing that we've got in other places. But we can certainly beef out this little area with a bit more recycling and the such like, I think. I'm thinking more scrapyards as well. Like obviously we've got our Skidmark junkyard over here. I'm thinking we can take a lot of these props and use them to fill out some of these spaces over here. Potentially some more of the piles, some more of the actual landfill sites that we've got from Avanya's collection as well. These could fit quite nicely into this space around the back of the waste processing facility here. And then of course down by the road we will be doing a kind of actually a media complex, which I will come on to in a second. But I think for now let's go ahead and detail up our waste processing area, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so there we go. So I have just over here actually pushed these buildings back and added in a little yard in front of them, which I thought was needed, with a little bit of chain link barbed wire fence around it, a couple of little trucks, bit of trash of course, and a couple of forklifts and that sort of thing. Just felt like that needed a bit more detail around it. And then over in this kind of odd space, I have used a retaining wall to try and match this wall that we've got on here, although it does look an awful lot cleaner. Like it's a new bit added on at the end or something like that. But just some piles of garbage, basically, and a few little of our sim props wandering around working on the area, which I thought was a nice little touch. And then just around the sewage works, I've actually gravelled this all in with a few mud decals, a nice bit of corrugated iron fencing all the way around the whole thing, so it very much looks like one complex now, as opposed to lots of different little elements stuck together. And then around the waste transfer facility, I have added in a couple more of Avania's landfills from the workshop and some of the extra pile decals and props that we can add in there just to give it a bit of extra realism. Again, some little sim props gathered around working in the landfill. And then finally onto the main waste processing facility. So I have used some of the colossal waste recycling signs that comes with Avania's recycling set as well that we used when we did the skid mark junkyard. Just made this little centrepiece area here with a double sign either side and a little wall underneath it, which I thought was quite a nice touch for the opening area. And actually one of the sub-buildings as well, which is this interesting little brick kind of shack building, used as a bit of a security entrance for this area, and then just a lot of industrial fencing and a bit of concrete brush tool to fence in the entire area, so it's nice and yeah, cohesive, like one little compound. So pleased with how that now looks, and it seems to flow together pretty well, the two main buildings and the sub building there. Oh, and then the last little bit was I did move the bus station back, added in a little bit of extra road here, which actually kind of adjoins to the other side as well with a taxi depot. We always need taxis, and you can see them actually coming out of there now, so obviously getting some use from that. And then just in front of the bus station, I did add a little bus yard here. Coloured all the buses red with our bus props, a couple of the Bolt ones over here, like a different brand, but I thought that added a nice touch to the front of the bus depot yard there. So yeah, it is now time to come on to our little office area, and actually I want this to have a bit of a media focus. Because there is one building that we are yet to use, and that is with the concerts. We get this media broadcast building, and I haven't placed this anywhere within Auridon, and it's actually a really, really super nice looking building. So I think we can combine that with the TV station that we get from the high-tech content creator pack, this one, to create a little bit of a media area over this side. So let's just start off by clearing out the trees. Like that, and then we'll continue to use our industrial road, I think, for this, like the rest of this compound area, to bring out a little bit of a road network for it. So I'm going to snap to angle here, and I think we probably will bring it out at about this distance, which feels about right, and we're just going to bring it down this way for now. And then we're going to grab our media building. So this one's from Concerts as mentioned, and we're going to place it quite nice and close up to the road here. And the reason why I want this is because we've obviously got this little suburban neighbourhood this side, and I kind of want something relatively built up next to the road, and this feels low enough that it's not out of place here. It's got the little hedge up against it, up against the road there. Kind of covers up a little bit of the terrain tearing. We need to do a bit of smoothing out the back here, but it feels quite nice like this, I think. A bit of a delivery entrance around that side. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with how that is placed. I think we do need to just level off this road a touch, and I mean that sinks in an awful lot more. So I'm not sure if we actually want to go that low. So let's just undo that for a second, and what we could do is actually level off these roads with this building here, and then use that as our terrain height. So we'll just use a bit of slope tool here to make that nice. We'll grab terrain tools, and we're just going to level to this level here, like that. So then if we grab our TV station, so this asset here, and then we place this in, I kind of want this quite close to this complex. I think that would make a bit of sense. However, we definitely want a walking path from this residential neighbourhood into this area. So let's just move this back a little touch, like that will do nicely. And let's add a pedestrian bridge in over this road. Something like that I think will work really nicely. Not too high, nice gentle slopes for the pedestrians to walk down. Then they can get straight into this complex here. So let's just grab this. We'll move it back a little bit. We'll leave a little bit of a gap there because it'd be nice to do some kind of garden detailing, I think, down that side of it. But that gives us our two media buildings. So let's have a little think about what else we can put in here. And I'm thinking what would be nice is to kind of frame this with a bit of a plaza area here. So what have we got? We've got 4 units this side. So let's go out 4 units this way and then we'll just bring this up and let's see what plazas we can fit into here. So the large fountain plaza does actually fit in there pretty nicely. So I think we will use this one and then we're just going to box this in like that for the moment. Let's just trim off these roads here. And I'm thinking this road as well should be a concrete connecting road. Just so it looks like it kind of flows into the complex as opposed to being like a road that you'd actually want to drive on, as it were. I think that works pretty well, and I like the orientation of the fountains this way because that frames a kind of entrance road into this area like that. Now the other types of buildings that we can use here, I'm thinking what I do want to do is use a few more of the Modern Japan content creator pack buildings. So we've got, oh hello, balloons in the way. We've got this nice low office building here. I think these would suit this kind of area pretty well. We've got local registry office, that's maybe a little bit big. Let's go for the city office building, I think, over here. And then we also have the district office building as well, which we can use. So let's just place that in like this for the moment, and then we'll think about orientation for these. Now there is a couple of other sub-buildings as well that I would like to use within this. So we have got the back of the disaster response unit, which is just, yeah, probably the best sub-building there is going. Which I think makes really quite a nice little sort of sound stage onto the back of our TV station like this. I think we'll bring it in somewhere behind, and again we're just kind of going to play with the orientation of these until we find something we like. And I do want to keep this path clear so that we can add some kind of pedestrian access and such like around here. I'm thinking we could even potentially add a pedestrian road. Let's just see what that might look like. We perhaps go for the small bluestone pedestrian street. Let's just see if we can bring this in nicely around here like that. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm thinking actually we should change this. Oh, not that one, this one. Let's just get that back to our bluestone pedestrian streets. There's no buildings on this, so we don't actually need a service station or anything like that to be functional in this area. And then, yeah, I think we'll use this unmarked suburban street to kind of bring up the roads around it. And in fact, I'm thinking now as well, we should probably upgrade all of this to this. It's a little bit smarter around the plaza and around this complex, I think. Yeah, I prefer that look. If we bring that up to here, this can kind of act as a bit of a sound stage, I feel like, or some kind of stage for the TV studios, something like that up this side. And again, it adds that kind of blocky, slightly commercial / nicer industrial building to go with our TV stations, I think, there. So I quite like the look and feel of that. And then the other one is actually our cargo airport. Now, interestingly, there is quite a nice little sub-building for this, which is this one, which looks very much like a kind of delivery centre, which could, again, be sort of deemed as sound stages. I'm just going to move this office building out of the way for a second, because we definitely don't want that in here. Now, the only trouble with this sub-building is it is like hollow on this end. When you come around, it's actually fine on all of the other angles, but that end is definitely one to watch out for. So I think with this, what we're going to do is merge this building into the back of it. So we can then kind of bring this up, and what we want to do is sort of align it to those windows nicely, so we're not blocking any windows there. Let's just check the other side. It is going in a little bit strangely with that light there. We may have to bump the light off, although, yeah, we might get away with it. We might get away with it. I think what we'll do is actually move that up to the back so this light makes a little bit more sense. If we just merge it in and kind of follow the edge of the building here, you can then fuse them together at that point. And it is slightly over the windows here, which we'll have to do, I think. We'll have to do. And then I think in the middle of this space here, we are then going to do a nice like kind of park, social, eatery type of area. I think that that would be most appropriate for there. And then we'll bring this road back, and I think what we'll do is add in a few more offices down this back end here. It's a little bit more built up, especially with the service points and the tram depot and things like that over this side. I think we can get away with a few more office buildings there. And then this one, I'm reasonably happy with this actually on the corner here. We need to do a little bit of detailing around it to sort out that terrain there. But yeah, pretty happy with the look and feel of that one. Then I think we want to bring out this concrete connector road in front of this building here and potentially bring it round just a little bit like that. And we can have a couple more office buildings in the back there. But then it might be quite good to have some kind of social aspects down this side. So I'm wondering if we can use one of these Oriental restaurants. Don't mind that too much. It would give the workers somewhere to go and eat, and obviously we need a bit of detailing around that, of course. Let's have a little look at what office buildings might fit out the back here. So yeah, we could definitely use some of these old brick sort of factory-like ones, which I absolutely love, I have to say, these assets. We just merge that together a little bit, and then we just want to reset this one so it's exactly the same colour as that other building. Yeah, I don't mind the light stone. I think that's quite nice. That looks alright sitting behind there. I think with this office as well, we will do a little bit of build-in fusing here just to merge these in together. I don't think that that will look too bad. We've got a slight roof overlap there, but that's, yeah, pretty usual when we're doing some fusing of these pretty vanilla assets. Windows on the back are a little bit dodgy, so let's just make sure that's nicely aligned. We can cut it off at 3 units there. There's a slight overlap on the front, but yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Let's of course reset this so we've got it as the same colour as the other building as well, which we have now, and then that gives us quite a nice little corner asset actually there. We could even potentially make this into a big block square, but I think we will leave that like that. And then there is this building as well, the UJoy Entertainment Agency, a K-pop entertainment agency, which comes with the Heart of Korea Content Creator Pack, which I would really like to use here as well. So I think it would be appropriate to use this in this case. I think we'll sit it back there, but we could also combine it with this Dawson Square Centre, which is quite a large asset, so probably needs to be set back from this little road just a little bit, but that's enough for it to still be connected. But that would really give us quite a nice framing from this road. It'll feel a lot more built up, and particularly from these housing estates as well. We'll get some trees in there, but then it does feel like it's still very much part of the city as opposed to being right on the outskirts. And then I think we will fill up this end just with a couple more smaller office assets, but nothing too major there. So let's go ahead and detail up this area. So as mentioned, we're adding car parks. We'll tidy up the backs and around a lot of these buildings. Lots of brush tool needed to make this feel nice. We'll add a nice big recreational park area in the middle here. A little bit more detailing around the kind of the cargo delivery area that we're using to form a bit of a sound stage there, which I really like the look of. And then obviously, yeah, add in a few more smaller offices down the end and just make sure we're all nicely detailed up against this road and in some of these other missing blank areas. But I think that will fill in this space pretty nicely actually and be a nice kind of transition out into the airport with this industrial build up around our big full stack interchange here. So yeah, pretty pleased with how this sits next to these big waste processing facilities there. Maybe a little bit noisy for filming, but I'm going to assume that they have excellent soundproofing. We'll jump right into that time lapse and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we have our extra media centre tagged onto the side of our waste processing facility. And I have just out here done a load of like billboards for the different companies. I don't know what Zeti Express is, maybe the bus company. That's what I'm going for there. Waste recycling obviously, and then Red Ladder Media, which was the only media related sign that I could find, which I just gave a little very basic frame for. So yeah, we come down in here, we've got the Red Ladder Media sign as we come into the complex. I have just added in the long car parks here, a little bit of hedge detailing all the way around this as well. And a little multi-storey car park at the back here, again just a little bit more detailing with a path downwards through there. And again, all around the back of these I've just added in fence, a little bit of rocks to cover up that change in terrain height there. And then a few little containers out the back of this sort of storage soundstage facility down here. Added in a little bollard, so I'm kind of thinking it's like permanent storage as opposed to more temporary. Then we've put in a pedestrian path all the way around the back of this Korean building here. A couple of nice little touches with the news crew over here actually interviewing TV stars is what I'm assuming for some TV show, which I thought was quite nice. Security on hand there. Not too much detailing actually around these buildings, just kind of finished it off a little bit, and then of course we've done this big plaza in the middle, and because it was Red Ladder Media I thought these red sculptures would be quite appropriate for this. Just kind of like a general communal space, like nicely landscaped tiled space for workers of this particular area. And then I did come back and set the K-pop U-Joy Entertainment Agency back a little bit off the road, added a couple of car parks in front and some nice bushes and nice flowers around that little table seating area out the back for the staff there. Although they do sit on the roof, which I quite like. This roof garden is lovely, love that. And again, out the back of these, now I did move these actually, I'll switch the orientation of these around a little bit. But out the back of here I have just added in this nice little tiled plaza fountain area for staff to relax in. We added a police and fire station using the Korean units again. They're just quite modern and small, which I really quite liked. So I've just done that with extra police cars and fire trucks out the front. A couple of little bollards just for extra decoration, but very, very simple in there. And then we come on up to the slope. So again, we've added in another pedestrian connection over here because actually the train station's right there. So actually it's super quick for them to now get into the area. And we've had loads of pedestrians coming and going between these areas, which is great to see. A little bit of rock and garden detailing around these office buildings. So we just put in a few different repeated patterns up at the back here to make it look like a couple of extra office blocks with a nice garden for having a luncheon in the middle. And then we have just put in a big brick wall, the same as we had the other side, dividing off the residential district that side all the way along this road, which I think frames it off quite nicely. So when you're driving down here you kind of get little sneak peek, oh hello, the tree, you kind of get little sneak peeks into the media area, but nothing too major there. Kept it open here obviously with our hedge, so that was all nice and open with that big glass building, nice and visible from the road. But yeah, that was it really. So I think it sits in quite nicely into this little spot here, just tagged onto the side of Skidmark Junkyard. So I'd love to hear your name suggestions for this area, so please do drop it in the comments. Like, what can the Auridon Media, Red Ladder Media company area called? Do we just stick with Red Ladder? I don't know. You tell me and we shall give it a name on future episodes. But that is going to be it for today, so thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, if you do want to pick up any of these content creator packs or DLCs, to check out my instant gaming link. If you have enjoyed the video, likes, comments and shares are as always really, really appreciated. And do let me know your name suggestions in the comments too. But that is all from me for today, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye bye.